This might be the biggest disgrace in football history. Meanwhile, it's BODØVER for our preseason UCL Giant Slayers. I'd absolutely hate to be a Chelsea fan right now. And Vini Jr. sends City packing. This is DMAC Daily. New tier of VAR has just dropped. You thought 5-minute delays were excessive. Well, how about 57 days? As Morocco have now been crowned Afcon winners with Senegal's victory declared void according to CAF's latest ruling. I'm sorry, what? Just when you thought this organization couldn't be any more useless, any more unserious, they go ahead and deliver this bombshell, an outcome no one was asking for, bar the biggest Karens of the Royal Moroccan Football Federation. I hate to be the guy who clowns on Afcon because I genuinely do love this tournament. Bar the chaos of the final, Afcon 2025 was otherwise incredible, and African football as a whole is clearly on the rise. But this right here, nah, this ain't it. This ruling goes entirely against the spirit of football, and spare me all the technicalities of it all. That, actually Senegal walked off the pitch, so a forfeit was necessary 2 months later. No. Context matters here. Let's cast our memories back to that controversial day where Morocco's players were engaging in literal cheating, caught in 4K. Their own ball boys were caught in 4K assaulting Senegalese players. Then, in the dying embers of that shameful evening, a nothing penalty then went against Senegal. So the players, having been dealt with so much blatant injustice over the course of 90 minutes, walked off in protest. Now, if you wanted to be technical about the ruling in that exact moment and say, well, they walked off, by the letter of the law, a forfeit is valid, I could at least understand the logic that is being applied there. But that's not what happened. The referee, understanding the heightened tensions of that unique moment, allowed the players to come back onto the pitch, and the match continued. Key points here: Morocco agreed to continue, and CAF officials then went on to hand Senegal the trophy. Now both Morocco and CAF are trying to relitigate this outcome? It's totally preposterous. CAF refer to Article 82 and Article 84 of Afcon regulations as their justification. But what about IFAB's laws of the game for 25-26, which apply to every organization in football, stating that the referee has a legal duty to either stop, suspend, or terminate the game due to any kind of outside interference. One could argue Morocco's ball boy employees assaulting Senegalese players is blatant outside interference, and that technically the match should have been terminated, no? Look, the point I'm trying to make here is that this match was completely chaotic, but to only punish Senegal for their role in it all in the most extreme manner thinkable is beyond scandalous. But it somehow gets worse. CAF also reduced Saibari's suspension despite his clear role in the cheating. They scraped his $100,000 fine, but managed to uphold every Senegalese players and their association's fines. CAF also reduced Morocco's fines for the ball boy incidents. I'm sorry, those additional outcomes are all the proof you need to come to the conclusion that CAF are compromised here. They're not operating in good faith. They are solely prioritizing Morocco's interests at the expense of Senegal with this verdict. It's the ultimate disgrace. Football is won on the pitch, not in the courts. I don't understand how any Moroccan fan could feel any semblance of pride with this news, especially considering their recent history. Think about 2022 and the magic Morocco orchestrated. The entire football world fell in love with this fearless underdog nation, making history on the pitch. The first ever African representative in a World Cup semi-final. The scenes in the streets of Casablanca and all across this football-mad country, it was the beautiful game at its very best. But this entire saga has seen the ugly side of football come to life, which, let's be real, has been so detrimental to Morocco's international reputation. It's a shame because I actually think Morocco hosted a great tournament, but it's been well and truly tarnished with this whole facade. No doubt Senegal will inevitably appeal this shock ruling, but ultimately, who cares at this point? Football fans know who truly won that day. Like, what's next here? Are we taking Argentina's World Cup in '86 because of the hand of of God? Or are we going to see another update in May saying, actually, Senegal did win Afcon back in January? Are we going to see Fabrizio Slotmano post some more AI garbage of Senegal lifting the trophy in a courtroom? Sorry, had to fire shots at the AI merchant there. But basically, long story short, the game is so gone. Speaking of the game is so gone, and Bodo Glimt, my heart is broken. You were the chosen ones, destined to do the unthinkable. My Norwegian pre-season kings. But sadly, it is now Bodøver. Sporting have completed a spectacular remontada of their own, coming from 3 goals down and then dismantling the Norwegian side in extra time, becoming only the 5th team in this competition's history to overturn a 3-goal deficit from the first leg and advance. To be fair to Sporting, this was the deserved outcome. They managed to do what no other side in Europe was capable of this UCL campaign in completely battering the Norwegian minnows. Despite humbling some of Europe's premium sides, it was surprisingly Sporting that would inevitably expose that golfing class and financial prowess. That being said, I gotta give credit to the Portuguese giants because they too aren't a traditional European powerhouse, yet finished in the top 8 in the UCL league phase and have now gone on to reach the quarterfinal stages for the first time in 43 years, which is all the more impressive when you take into account that they actually lost their star player this summer. Gyökeres had 65 goal contributions for the club last season. They then replaced him with Luis Suarez. No, not that one, but a Colombian Suarez who was previously playing in Spain's second tier, and he's since smashed it in Lisbon. 39 goal contributions in 41 games. So whilst it pains me to see that the Arctic Giant Killers have since been eliminated, I'm keen to see how Sporting go in the quarterfinals against Arsenal. Remember, they actually knocked out Arsenal in Europe 3 years ago. Speaking of London teams, and sure, Chelsea may have been comprehensively farmed by PSG on paper, but I'm sorry, are we really gonna ignore the fact that Chelsea actually won this tie on XG? We were definitely robbed. No, but in all seriousness, I would hate to be a Chelsea fan in the big 2026 because this is a full-fledged circus right now. Banter FC in all its glory, 1.5 billion down the drain, soon to be in the Conference League again. I keep telling myself it could be worse. I could be a Spurs fan, but this is a dark period for Chelsea. Their worst ever UCL tie defeat. There's a literal mole in the dressing room, and honestly, the vibes are just cooked. I couldn't believe what I was seeing when at 2-0, both teams were making substitutions. PSG are bringing on Golden Boy Desiree Doué, and Chelsea are bringing on Delap and Garnacho. At that point, I had to protect my own mental well-being and turn off the television. I hopped on Twitter, and I'm then spammed with images of Rafinha writing notes to Garnacho 8-2 down. Then at full time, Enzo's asked about his future, and he says, I don't know. It's just a mess wherever you look. Just quickly on PSG though, and just like last season, they are starting to turn on the style when it matters most. Kvaratskhelia was damn near unplayable in both legs. What a complete winger he is, but that's just one example. This PSG side is jam-packed full of world-class quality throughout the pitch. I'd say their only weakness at this point is the goalkeeper department. Safonov was better today, but I'm still not fully convinced. Chevalier has also underwhelmed this campaign. In hindsight, I think it was a crazy decision to get rid of Donnarumma, but regardless, this is still a fabulous team, one that's finding form at the perfect moment too. They are definitely serious contenders to go all the way. Speaking of contenders, and Real Madrid have once again eliminated Manchester City from the UCL, this time without really relying on their star forward Kylian Mbappe. Granted, he did have a short cameo in the second leg, but by that point the tie was effectively over. To be honest, it was over the second Bernardo Silva blocked Vini Jr.'s shot with his arm. Penalty, down to 10 men. Forget about the remontada. This time Vini made no mistake slotting home the pen, and while City would go on to find an equalizer courtesy of their talisman Haaland, Pep knew there was really no chance of turning this around, which is why Haaland was subbed out after 50 odd minutes. And then to close out the show, Vini Jr. struck again. 5-1 on aggregate, statement made. Say what you want about Arbeloa and his players, there are many valid criticisms for sure, but they look fully rejuvenated as a team. I certainly don't have them as my favorites to win the competition at this stage, but we can never really rule out Madrid, can we? Another team we can't rule out is Arsenal. To complete an evening of sheer misery for myself, the Gunners made relatively light work of Leverkusen. It was an underwhelming first leg in Germany, but Arteta's side were in full control of this return fixture at the Emirates. Eberechi Eze with an absolute belter on the half volley. That moment will do a world of good for his confidence, and it was another Englishman in Declan Rice who put the tie to bed. A big result leading into their cup final this weekend. We need to reckon with the fact that a quadruple is still very much on the cards at this point. We will never hear the end of it if they actually pull it off, but if I were an Arsenal fan, low-key I'd be pretty confident. Arteta has built this formidable winning machine, and they don't appear to be slowing down. In fact, I'd argue they've probably underwhelmed at times offensively, like they could be a lot better. Another positive to consider is David Raya's contribution. He has become such a reliable and clutch goalkeeper. At 2-0, he pulls off a spectacular save. That goes in, the momentum swings, and it could be a completely different story. So Arsenal fans, you say I'm fully biased against you, but light-hearted banter aside, I've always recognized how good this team is. Anyways guys, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. Thanks for tuning in as always, and I'll see you tomorrow.